Ever wondered how two of the world's biggest superpowers could be locked in a bitter struggle for nearly half a century without ever firing a single shot directly at each other? That, in a nutshell, was the Cold War. It was an epic standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union that shaped the world we live in today, running from the end of World War II all the way to 1991. So, grab a seat, and let's dive into this period of intense rivalry, spies, and a world divided. At its core, the Cold War was a battle of ideas. On one side, you had the United States championing democratic capitalism, individual liberty, and free markets. On t'autre, the Soviet Union, pushing its vision of authoritarian communism, where the state controlled everything from the economy to people's lives. These two systems were like oil and water. They simply could not mix. This fundamental clash of ideologies wasn't just a philosophical debate. It split the entire globe into two opposing camps. Picture a line drawn straight through the heart of Europe. To the west, nations allied with the US in a bloc symbolized by NATO. To the east, countries fell under the Soviet sphere of influence, forming the Warsaw Pact. This division was most famously represented by the Berlin Wall, a concrete symbol of the Iron Curtain that separated East from West. This geopolitical chess game created a constant state of tension, with both sides vying for influence and trying to contain the other. This tension wasn't just political, it was military, and it was terrifying. The Cold War sparked a relentless arms race, as both the US and the USSR built up massive arsenals of nuclear weapons. Each side knew that a direct attack would lead to mutually assured destruction, or MAD. A chilling concept that meant a nuclear war would annihilate both nations. The world held its breath during several nail-biting crises, most notably the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. For 13 days, the planet teetered on the brink of nuclear catastrophe as Soviet missiles were placed in Cuba, just a stone's throw from American shores. It was the closest we ever came to a full-blown nuclear exchange. Since direct conflict was too catastrophic to contemplate, the superpowers fought their battles indirectly through proxy wars. Instead of American and Soviet soldiers fighting each other, they would back opposing sides in regional conflicts across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Wars in places like Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan became battlegrounds for this larger ideological struggle, with devastating consequences for the people living there. The US and USSR poured money, weapons, and support into these conflicts, turning local disputes into international flashpoints. But the competition wasn't limited to the battlefield. It extended into every facet of life, with spies like the KGB and CIA playing a deadly game of cat and mouse, to propaganda, with both sides trying to win hearts and minds around the world. One of the most iconic arenas of this rivalry was the space race. When the Soviets launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, in 1957, it sent shockwaves through the United States. This kicked off a frantic competition to prove technological superiority, culminating in the American Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969, a symbolic victory for the West. So, how did this epic 45-year standoff finally end? By the late 1980s, the Soviet Union was crumbling from within. Its command economy was failing, and the costs of the arms race and its foreign interventions were unsustainable. A wave of popular revolutions swept across Eastern Europe, and in a moment that captivated the world, the Berlin Wall fell in 1989. People from East and West Berlin came together to tear down the symbol of their division. This was the beginning of the end. By 1991, the Soviet Union itself had dissolved, officially ending the Cold War and ushering in a new, unipolar world order. The great ideological battle was over. The Cold War was a defining chapter of modern history, a period of fear, division, and incredible tension, but also of remarkable technological advancement and human resilience. It shaped borders, alliances, and the very fabric of international politics. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this interesting, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more history content, and let me know in the comments what topic you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.